How does divorce affect somebody's investment portfolio and long-term financial strategy?
Yeah, I think it's a big open-ended question because it really depends on what type of divorce you're dealing with. If it's you're in a battle with your spouse or soon-to-be ex-spouse versus a collaborative divorce, those two things can differ quite a bit in terms of what that outlook looks for your long-term investment strategy. I think that the important thing is kind of try to step outside the situation for a moment and just realize your life is going to change, like any other big life event, such as losing a spouse, or something that happens on the medical side that causes you to change what you're doing when it comes to saving and your investments. And so I think by taking a step outside the situation, which is hard sometimes because there's a lot of emotions involved, it gives you some time to reflect, and maybe you have a professional that can help you work through that to see, like, what does this actually look like?
What are the most common mistakes you see people make with their investments, not just after divorce, but even during the divorce when they've just separated? What are some big mistakes people will make?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is divorces don't happen in a day or a week. It's something that builds over time. And I think that when going through the divorce and the actual divorce and the day that it's done, there tends to be a reaction where human beings, where we want to quickly kind of resolve all the other things going on in our life, including what we're doing investment-wise, because we've taken so long to make this decision in some cases to leave that partner or vice versa. And so, I think the best or the thing that I see that people that do it right is take time to reflect, right? This is a big life change, and you really need to have the time to figure out how this affects if you have children, maybe you have parents that you need to look after. Maybe there's another, but maybe not a spouse at this point, but somebody significant coming into your life. And I think you need to kind of, again, take yourself out of the situation and just reflect on the amount of risk you really need to take to get the financial outcome you want. And some people say, well, yeah, but my risk tolerance hasn't changed, or, I'm the same person as before, but now I have freedom. That's all great, but what can get in the middle of those things is emotions and biases. And I have seen people go both ways, right? I've seen people want to put the money under the mattress, metaphorically, to people that want to go and buy the most high-flying tech stocks on the NASDAQ because they feel they have to make up for lost time. And I think the problem with all that is, we wouldn't jump in a car and put a bag over our head and go driving 100 miles an hour down the road. We would say, you're going to end in an accident. Why would you do that with your financial portfolio? And so that's why you got to take the time, I think, to kind of think this out a little bit and see, maybe your risk tolerance hasn't changed, but maybe your capacity to take risk has.
Yes.
Right. And that's a big differentiation. Market doesn't care about your capacity. Market's about risk. Capacity is a different type of risk.